Now, which international artist helped Afrobeat and gave it a little push it needed to get to the international stage? No matter how much we want to say the local guys have pushed it to this level, we still remember that no genre is successful without some little collaboration here and there and some little believing from people who can catch the vision. Now, this is not to remove the credit from the real owners of Afrobeat. We are just saying which of the international artists saw the vision early, gave their support one way or the other, and brought it to the international stage in their own little way. Now, let's go. We're going to start from the bottom actually. Let's look at number 5, Wale. Because Wale gave his own little contribution to Afrobeat by featuring on Wizkid's songs, showing love to Olamide. Most of you don't even know, as early back as 2013, 2014, when Wale was popping in America, he was proud to associate himself with a Nigerian origin because I think his parents are originally from Nigeria, but he was not ashamed to relate even with artists locally, give them platforms, feature on their songs, even get them on his own songs as well. I mean, Olamide and Wizkid, and even I think sometimes Davido were able to feature on his songs, I believe. So it's important that we give Wale the credit on the number 5 spot for being one of the artists, one of the international artists, to associate with Afrobeat artists, give them the love they needed at that moment. So, while the genre was budding, honestly, we have to give him props. I am not saying that, you can either say that, it's because he's Nigerian and blah, 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 but no. You can be Nigerian and still be American and not even give 2 F's about Nigerians. So, he's seen the genre as young as it was at that time and gave it that kind of love. I don't know, maybe he got paid in the background, but to what I know, physically, he was showing lots of love, giving them a whole lot of visibility in his own way. Now, who else is the next guy here? We're going to give the number 4 spot to, let's say, Kanye. Now, the reason why Kanye is taking the number 4 spot is because at the time, Kanye was very, very early to the Afrobeat journey. As far back as 2011, when people didn't even know anything about it, Kanye was bold enough to have listened and watched the band feature Snoop Dogg on the Mr. Endowed remix. And boldly, Kanye walked up to the band, invited the band and just rather, and they were able to sign a deal for a year or whatever, even though the deal may not have panned out the way everybody expected, but it was very bold. I even think it calls into question Kanye's visionary, because this guy saw the movement before anybody did. Whether he saw the potential, but maybe because the contract, because the band, I think the contract for a while ended and everybody parted their ways. But it's beautiful to see that somebody believed that early. So this is why the reason why we are running this video is that we can give credit to certain people who assisted, who stimulated the growth. We are not saying they created the genre, no. We are not saying that they are stealing the genre, no. But they gave love, even when sometimes there wasn't really any potential return. They tried bringing Afrobeats to the United States in their own little way. So shout out to Kanye West, and of course you guys can see, because of his influence, he knows, this guy knows how influential he can be. Imagine the other day, what's his name, Bankuli recorded him dancing to Ye by Burna Boy, and before you know, Ye blew up. And he also showed love to Burna Boy when their both project was renamed. There was a coincidence. Kanye's album Ye, people were searching for Kanye's album, but they stumbled on Burna Boy's song Ye, and that was how he blew. But he didn't hesitate to show love to Kanye, to Burna Boy, dancing to his song, linking up with him and things like that. So in these little ways, this guy has actually helped influence the Afrobeat culture. No matter how much they gave it a push one way or the other. So shout out to Kanye, shout out to Wale. For my number 3 spot, I am going to be giving it to Drake. Actually, some people will expect that Drake should be at a particular spot, maybe at the top spot, but I'm giving this Drake because Drake is very smart at seeing genres and grabbing them. Some people might call him a culture vulture. Well, the allegations are looking somehow, but Drake at some point, Drake knows how to take a culture, use it, appropriate it, but also give back to that culture by, maybe featuring the artists, giving them the recognition they need at that moment to excel and, get on the global stage. We all saw what he did, firstly, jumping on Wizkid's track. The first one, Ujo Elegba remix, jumped on it and everywhere was like a wildfire. Drake really did something big, because I think it's not just enough for people to know their power. It's also important to know how to use that power. And I believe Drake was able to explore that strength of his brand. If Drake gives you a cosign, you are done, you're good to go, you are off, you have ascended. And looking at what he did with Wizkid, firstly putting him on the Ojo Legba remix, he getting on the Ojo Legba remix, putting some little touches here and there, his vocals with Skepta, and we saw how the song grew. The culture changed forever. And then he also brought him on One Dance. Even though there was no video, some people might argue that the only thing Drake knows how to do is he steals people's culture so that he can tap into their audience. Well. The more important thing is that we see the impact, the positive impact, while he rolls with this culture. For example, he's messed with dancehall, and we can see that popcorn is very big. So the culture vulture, I don't know, but I think I'll call it collaboration. Some people want to say Drake knows how to hop on the next wave. When something is popping, he knows, but we have to give him credit for even knowing, for the foresight. Drake, I don't know whether he learned very well from Kanye West, but whoa, it's beautiful to see that this guy saw a genre while it was still at its infant. Although everybody knows that Afrobeats success was inevitable, actually. There is no how we do it. Our artists were pushing it. In no time will it be successful. It will actually be very successful. But the fact that you will see people who believe and also co-sign and endorse it is actually beautiful. So shout out to Drake as well. We could see the love he's shown. Most of it. I even think he also had some kind of collaborations that were maybe subtle with Drake and with Burna Boy. I mean, his song More Life seemed to have been inspired by Burna Boy. Yes, there is something around that. You guys should research it. And then for number 2, I will give the shout out to Skepta. Skepta is somebody who has a Nigerian origin, even though he's UK, but he's been very proud, just like Wale. Wale is the American version of Skepta when it comes to their influence on Afrobeats. You see how Skepta is able to not just carry the culture on his back in an international scene, because you see, London is a very important scene for the development of Afrobeat, because it's one of the international places or international cultures that embrace the Afrobeat movement early enough, very, very early, even since the time of Baba Fela and the rest of them. London has been a very beautiful bridge for the exchange of cultures. So shout out to Skepta. Skepta linking Wizkid with Drake was very beautiful, actually. I mean, some people could have chosen to push the songs for themselves, but bringing in Drake like, hey, I have this joint, listen to it, and Drake getting on the song and changing everything. I mean, Skepta could have been selfish. They could have wrapped him away from the light, but we could see what it's doing. Sometimes you see these guys show up in their arena, sell out stadiums when they sell this, their tickets and everything, and they will show you successful. You see Skepta in the background showing them love, giving them love, because it's important that they get co-sign from the OGs in that scene. And on that scene, you know that Skepta is like the big guy, the big dog. He's one of the big dogs in the UK, and he has actually shown lots and lots of love. I even love that he's also imbibing the Afrobeats thrill into his song. I mean, the guy is originally Nigerian, but like I said, it's not just enough to be Nigerian. Sometimes showing that love back is very, very important. I mean, the guy has been instrumental to the acceptance of a whole lot of artists just by relating with them. Sometimes you need people to just relate with you, to network you into some kind of rooms. I feel like Skepta is that kind of guy, because I see him as a very smart, business savvy guy as well. So shout out to Skepta. Now for my number 1 is one and only Chris Brown. Look, before Kanye came around, Chris Brown has always been this connoisseur, this guy who had good taste for dance. Chris Brown had been to Africa early, I think to Ghana specifically, and he's shown love, linked up with Wizkid, linked up with most of our local artists at that time, and showed them a whole lot of love, danced with them. One thing people don't know is endorsements are very, very important when you're trying to sell something. And Chris Brown's endorsement of Afrobeats might not have gotten the kind of commercial attention Drake's Own did. I mean, but for somebody like Chris Brown to have, because Chris Brown is always big, no matter how much you want to see, no matter how much you guys want to cancel him, Chris Brown has always been very big. So seeing his success, how successful he can be, and he still comes around, fraternizes with artists that he's way bigger than. I mean, he could have been very arrogant, but shout out to him, because it's beautiful to see how early he gave Whiskey one of his collaborations, very early, African Bad Girl. But before that, he's been showing lots of love, linking up with these guys, studio sessions. So shout out to Chris Brown. And you can even see the bromance with him and Davido. It's amazing. And guess what? He's even hopping on the Afrobeats trend as well, showing lots of love and imbibing the vibe into his production. So shout out to Chris Brown, because I feel like the guy is a very important influential figure in anything that has to do with music, especially black people music. So if you get a cosign from somebody like, I feel like Michael Jackson might have even jumped on Afrobeats. He may have probably invited one or two people, but shout out to Chris Brown for actually seeing the vision very early. My worthy mentions, if I have people I probably want to mention, bonus guys, I would say I probably want to add people like Snoop Dogg, because Snoop Dogg actually gave an early feature. Whether he was paid, at least he's still allowed. A lot of people say, okay, Snoop Dogg is everywhere. He can do anything for the bag. He can be in India. He can rap to an Indian song for the bag. But shout out to what's his name, Snoop Dogg, because I think he gave the band one of his first features on the international scene, Mr. Endowed remix, and that was beautiful. Everybody went crazy, and I think that was the movement, or that was the move that brought the attention to Kanye West to want to sign the band and Don Jazzy at that time. Then another person is Meek Mill. Meek Mill's really interaction with the culture, I don't know, it's not been very coordinated, but he's tried his best as well. I mean, he featured on Davido's Fans Me, and he dropped some bars. It was beautiful. It was beautiful for the culture at that moment as well. Jidenna is another person that I know, even though he has not been very big, besides his Classic Man song. I mean, he's been a very, very salient representative of the culture. The guy does not shy away from showing love to his Nigerian counterparts, even though he's American, but he's Nigerian American. But he's showing lots of love. You see him collaborating on Nigerian songs and just doing his thing, influencing. Sometimes public endorsement, coming to Afrobeat events is beautiful, and I see that happen. I've seen him with Burna Boy, I've seen him with lots of Nigerian musicians and even Nigerian events. I think there was even a time he got an endorsement in Nigeria, a brand endorsement. So seeing that there is an interaction between both cultures, even though we have some of our brothers who are there and here, you see that there's a chemistry, and it's beautiful. Most of the people who are reaping the success today are reaping successes because we have people over there who are making nice interactions on our behalf or conversations. So shout out to them. You see, this list is not to say that Afrobeat originators are not in Africa or in Nigeria. It's just saying that sometimes for you to sell something, for something to be successful, you need a cosign. It's like when you have a great product, sometimes you need endorsement from others who have already been ahead of you. So shout out to everybody. Guys, if you made it to the end of this video, please hit the subscribe button, like and share, and let me know what you think in the comment section. See you soon. Cheers. Bless.